The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her.
Why her?
Well, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
There's a method to this madness. When given a chance to talk about Caitlin Clark, they're always going to racialize it and try to demonize Caitlin Clark's fan base.
Yet, instead of appreciating Clark for leading the WNBA out of the abyss and into the mainstream conversation, mean girls and race clowns met her with resistance. Because Caitlin Clark's white, that's why little girls have gravitated towards her. I think what she's saying is ridiculous, and to tie it to little girls, you're going as low as humanly possible at this point.
Okay, gentlemen, we need to talk because Caitlin Clark is being attacked once more. And guess who is spearheading the attack? Monica McNutt.
No one cares about Monica McDougal. Monica says things like this to bring attention to herself.
However, this time, we won't tolerate it. Instead, we'll reveal the real reason behind Monica's hatred of Caitlin Clark and explain why the criticism is not only unjust, but also absurd.
Juju Watkins goes down with a devastating injury that might keep her out next season. God forbid. If the same thing happens to Caitlin Clark, the WNBA will not survive. You have one young woman carrying the entire league. And Monica McDougal and her pretend friends in the media, they are doing everything they can to piss off her fan base.
Do me a favor if you're sick of the ongoing disrespect directed at Caitlin Clark. She's smashing records, altering the game, and inspiring a whole new generation of hoops players. But somehow she's still receiving hate. We're not having it today. Let's get started when you press that like button and leave a Caitlin goat in the comments.
Former black players have decided, hey, we're going to hate on Caitlin Clark constantly to elevate ourselves, but also trigger her fans so that they'll keep coming to games and rooting for her, and it's going to elevate the entire league.
First, let's review the facts. Not just once or twice has Monica McNutt been disparaging Caitlin Clark. Rather, there has been a pattern of criticism that seems more like a personal agenda than an objective assessment.
Why have all these fans come to see Caitlin? And all the little suburban white girls have hopped on board because Caitlin Clark, she resonates with them more so than the angry black lesbians who dominate the WNBA.
We've all seen how the media portrays Caitlin when she breaks records, drops outrageous numbers, and essentially makes women's college basketball famous. Despite this, Monica has been one of the loudest voices promoting this negativity, so let's take a closer look at what Monica has been saying recently.
But she was a white girl from the middle of America.
You may initially believe that she is simply being a stern analyst, but when you contrast that with her comments on other players, it becomes clear that she is biased. For instance, Monica defended Angel Reese or Wilson after they had a poor game by claiming that everyone has terrible nights and that it's a part of the game.
She's not Angel Reese, who can barely make a layup. She's not Asia Wilson, who is 6'4" or 6'5" and completely unrelatable to most women.
However, when Caitlin has a difficult matchup, all of a sudden she's overhipped and not as good as people believe. This is an example of the double standard. It's not fair criticism. Rather, it's about promoting a narrative, and the worst part is that Monica isn't the only one doing it, she's just one of the loudest. Now, let's ask the real question, why is Monica McNutt so quick to disparage Caitlin Clark?
And little girls said, hey, I can relate to Caitlin Clark. She's like us. She has a boyfriend. There's a lot of parents that feel real comfortable taking their kids to a game.
Some claim it's jealousy, while others believe it's because Caitlin is receiving attention that Monica's preferred players aren't. And let's face it, Caitlin is breaking records left and right, receiving significant media attention, and is practically the face of college basketball. Rather than applauding this, Monica is out there trying to undermine her.
ESPN and claim that Monica McDougal is an NBA analyst. Obviously, Monica never played in the NBA. Monica wasn't even good enough to play in the WNBA. Maybe that's why Monica seems to be jealous of Caitlin Clark.
Why? Even if it means downplaying Caitlin's magnificence. She would prefer to promote a different star because it doesn't fit the narrative she desires.
Monica has figured out a way to make the WNBA relevant and profitable long term. The lady from the BBC, she seems to be asking Monica McDougal how the WNBA can maintain their momentum from last season. There's an easy answer to that question. More than likely, they can't.
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games, but I think Caitlin represented. And again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think, same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that she may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons.
Where are these Angel Reese fans? When I see Chicago Bravado games on TV, the only things I see are missed layups and empty seats.
However, here's the thing. Caitlin has earned everything she has. And the statistics show that she is more than just buzz.
They like Caitlin Clark because she's not a victim, because she doesn't seem to be angry. And so they find her relatable.
Caitlin Clark is not just another player, she is a generational talent. And the statistics support this. She has been breaking records, leading her team, and elevating women's college basketball to a new level of prominence. But in spite of all of this, she still receives criticism from individuals like Monica McNutt, who seem intent on downplaying her accomplishments.
She's not playing with anger. She's not playing with a sense of entitlement. And yes, people find that relatable.
But let's face it, if Caitlin were any other player, she would be widely held as one of the best in the game. Instead, we hear complaints about how overhyped or less dominant she is, which is absurd. Here's why Caitlin isn't just a scorer. She is a complete player who leads in assists, manages the game's pace, and improves her teammates.
She shoots logo threes, passes the ball like Magic Johnson, scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists. She's a great, great player, and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. So there's the attraction to the exciting style of play.
Some naysayers, like Monica, pretend that Caitlin is just the result of media hype. But that couldn't be further from the reality. Her performances speak for themselves. She continues to facilitate at an elite level while dropping 30 to 40 and occasionally even 50 points in games.
A'ja Wilson should be centered and they should be celebrating her. And all the little white girls should want to be like A'ja Wilson. Little black girls don't want to be like A'ja Wilson.
Tiny white girls should aspire to be like A'ja Wilson, whereas tiny black girls should not want to be like her. A'ja Wilson should be the center of attention and be celebrated.
It's a lot easier for a 5'7" girl to relate to a 6' girl than it is a 6'5" woman who's angry and whose best friend is some transgender man that thinks he's a woman and who walks around preaching to little white girls, you got a privilege and you don't have to work as hard as me and you don't have to do as much as me, because they're not willing to have the true discussion about why Caitlin Clark is so popular.
And let's not forget the pressure she faces every time she takes the court. The expectations are extremely high, but she keeps delivering. If another player were to achieve these kinds of results, they would be celebrated, but since it's Caitlin, the conversation is different. What's even more annoying is that Caitlyn doesn't demand special treatment. Instead, she works hard, maintains her humility, and lets her game speak for itself. If Monica McNutt and her fellow critics genuinely cared about the growth of women's basketball, they would see that Caitlyn is doing just that. But instead, they act as though her success is somehow a bad thing. The media didn't decide to hype her up out of the blue. She earned it, as evidenced by the ratings, which skyrocket. Every time she plays, she is the reason so many people are tuning in. And she is changing the landscape of women's basketball on her own.
Kids that come from two-parent homes can relate to Caitlyn Clark because they have more in common with her values and the way she presents herself.
The truth is that Caitlyn Clark has done more to raise awareness of women's basketball than most players could ever hope to. Young children are watching her and trying to emulate her, and they are motivated to take up the sport as a result of her impact and greatness. For this reason, all of this hate is senseless. Those who are disparaging her ought to be supporting her instead of trying to downplay what she has achieved. But no matter how hard they try, the truth cannot be denied.
Caitlyn Clark is relatable and popular, and people want to see her play because she's exciting as heck to watch and because she's not filled with anger. People are attracted to joy.
The arguments made by those who oppose Caitlyn Clark have been feeble from the beginning. But let's destroy them all one by one because she is among the greatest of all time and deserves the recognition she deserves. The most frequent complaint we receive is that she is overpriced.
Little girls are not the answer to the WNBA's financial problems. Why? Because little girls don't have money.
Let's take a moment to consider that. How can a player who is dominating her team in every significant statistical category, smashing records left and right, and attracting millions of spectators to the game alone be overrated? It doesn't even make sense. People like Monica McNutt love to claim that Caitlyn Clark is only successful because she takes a lot of shots. But wait, when was volume shooting a bad thing? Instead of getting the respect that male players with similar dom would receive, Caitlyn Clark is constantly nitpicked and scrutinized in ways that simply don't apply to others.
There's so many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlyn Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
You know, next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next season.
The greatest basketball scorers in history, Jordan. Michael high volume shooting is what elite offensive players like Kobe Bryant and Stephen Curry do. But the main distinction is that while those players were praised for their ability to dominate games, Caitlyn is chastised for doing the exact same thing. Additionally, she is one of the game's best passers, consistently setting up opportunities for her teammates. It's not just about her own stats. True superstars elevate everyone around them.
The association, they gave us a gym that I paid for. Not entirely, but they took money out of my check and I paid for it.
You better get the fucking full usage of that.
Man, I got hot tub, cold tub, weight room, full court basketball room. I walk in today, I'm on one side working out, Caitlyn Clark on the other side.
Really?
I look at myself, there you go, two fucking legends, Patty.
Did you say what's up?
You know I say what's up, but I'm not the type to say what's up to interrupt your workout because I don't like people to interrupt mine. She can shoot the shit out of it.
And the WNBA assist leader this past year.
She can shoot the shit out the ball.
She's a great shooter.
And she's one of those workout people, you know, got to think, anytime I hit the court, I got to hit that bike. I'm older now, so I got to get on that bike and stroll for a couple 5, 6, 7 minutes. So while I'm strolling through the park, I'm looking at her shoot it. And she's one of those shooters where, if you know as a gym rat, you guys know, like, damn, bro, why you throw that pass bad? Give me the ball in my chest. I'm like, oh, she's a gangster also.
She's lighting people up.
Throw me the ball the way I want it.
What drill was it? What drill was she running?
I don't know. She was doing a 2 in a row corner wing. And if you miss, you have to go back to the next spot. And if you missed again, you have to go back to the starting spot. She had a nice drill. I'm literally still in it.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right. So she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Then there is the ridiculous assertion that Caitlyn is only receiving this much attention. Because to her caller, this is a disrespectful and inaccurate argument. Caitlyn is in the spotlight because she is powerful and plays at a level that few athletes of any color have ever attained, not because she is white.
And that's what a lot of these women are doing, is they feel like what we have done for this game, this young player has come into our game and she's getting way more respect and all that stuff than we are. As she should. The young girl is a baller. The young girl has people watching because of the way she can shoot this basketball like Steph Curry. Steph Curry can't dunk. Steph Curry don't do none of that in the game. He can probably dunk by himself, but he don't really do none of that in the game. He is a shooter, and fans tune in to see Steph Curry. When I look at Caitlin Clark, fans are tuning in to watch her. And you know who that's helping? Everybody else. It's helping the Asia Wilsons. It's helping everybody else, the Plums, all that. It's helping all of them, the Taurasi.
When it comes to Caitlyn's competitive nature, we frequently hear complaints about her attitude that she celebrates too much, trash talks that she's too emotional, and she drags up from the logo. She makes impossible passes and carries herself with the kind of confidence that makes sports exciting. Which is why millions of fans are tuning in, not because of some manufactured media agenda. Let's also address the absurd double standard.